Mariah Carey's career began when she was just 18 years old after she signed a record deal with Columbia Records. Famous for her impressive vocals and signature whistle technique, she captured the world's attention as the first artist in history to have the first 5 singles peak at #1 on Billboard Top 100. Born on March 27, 1970, Carey was raised in Long Island, New York, with her older siblings. Her musical inspiration came from her mother, who was an opera singer. Although opera music wasn't her passion, it struck a chord with her in allowing her to learn how to sing after she was often found imitating her mother's voice. Her talent was discovered as a young child, and she was introduced to singing lessons age 4 to nurture her voice. This was how she learned to sing an extraordinary vocal range of 5 octaves. As someone who stood out in her music and literature classes at school, Carey began writing songs and poetry. For a time, she worked as a demo singer, meaning she often missed her school lessons but was able to build her singing opportunities instead. She then began working part-time jobs while she was living in New York City, training at a beauty school. In addition to this, she was pursuing her dream of a career in music. Carey is most notably known for her astounding vocals, both in her technique and her range. She has an effortless way of singing vocal runs, also known as melismas, that lend themselves to the different tempo and styles of her tracks. Her whistle register is something that has awed listeners all over the world. The whistle register is the highest register that a human can sing. A trademark sound, she executes the flute-like sound flawlessly. On top of these distinctive features, she can naturally and fluently leap between notes across a 5-octave range, while never losing pitch. It's likely that her mother's operatic voice influenced this. Across her career, she has layered her vocals over a wide range of genres, from soft ballads to hip-hop, dance, and pop tracks, even experimenting in R&B and soul music. At just 18 years old, she attended a party at CBS Records with her friend and singer Brenton K. Starr. It was here that she met Tommy Mottola, the president of Columbia Records, and was able to show him her demo tapes. After listening to the demos, Mottola immediately signed Carey. They actually got married 3 years later, and she began working on her debut album, Mariah Carey, which was released in 1990 and received tremendous success with her 4 singles, Visions of Love, Love Takes Time, Someday, and I Don't Want to Cry, all becoming #1 hits. It became the best-selling album of the year in 1991 and sold 15 million copies worldwide, whilst earning Carey her first Grammys. She was awarded Best New Artist and Best Female Pop Vocal Performance for Visions of Love. Only a year later, she co-produced and co-wrote her second album, Emotions. The lead single from the album, also titled Emotions, became an immediate #1 hit, crowning her the first artist to have their first 5 singles reach the top of the charts. And following this, she featured on MTV Unplugged after speculation about her lack of touring suggested she was incapable of singing her music live. Although claimed to have stage fright, she kept it under control to appear on Unplugged, which was released as both an album and a home video. Carey created a cover of the Jacksons' I'll Be There for the occasion, which became a #1 single. This performance established her position as an impressive live artist. She continued to release music, her third album, Music Box, failing to reach the expectations of her first album. This time, though, she promoted the album through a tour which earned her single Hero a top spot in the US, becoming one of her most well-known songs. Another track that would cement her musical status was her Christmas album, which featured All I Want for Christmas Is You, released in 1994. 3 years later, she released Butterfly, an album where most songs were written by Carey herself, and she continued the approach she had taken with previous album, Daydream, focusing on more hip-hop and R&B elements, with Honey becoming her 12th #1 single. Just as she had been preparing for a role in the upcoming film Glitter that she was also contributing to the soundtrack, she was hospitalized for physical and emotional exhaustion. And when it was finally released, it did not receive the success that had been hoped for. Her contract with Virgin ended, and instead she signed a deal with Universal's music group Island Def Jam Records. This brought about her album Charm Bracelet, which peaked at number 3 on the charts. She also embarked on her first tour in 3 years. Her 10th album, The Emancipation of Mimi, was titled the best-selling album of 2005 in the US, earning Carey another 3 Grammys, while her following album, E=MC2, offered Touch My Body, achieving Carey her 18th number 1 on Billboard. She continued to release music over the coming years, holding her top status in the industry and selling over 200 million records worldwide. Alongside her music, she was featured in multiple TV shows and became a judge on American Idol. In 2015, she signed to a residency in Las Vegas at Caesars Palace, and to coincide with the residency, she curated a greatest hits album featuring all her number 1 singles. A year later, she launched Mariah's World, a docuseries on E! That documented her tour, the Sweet Sweet Fantasy Tour. Her live shows only established her music legacy even further. Her extraordinary vocal ability and confident, playful performances, winning over admirable fans over the 3 decades she has spent in the industry. She engages with her audience, welcoming them to her show and shining in the spotlight, the best way a pop diva knows how to. Carey's busy schedule was put on hold when she announced in 2018 that she was struggling with bipolar II disorder. The diagnosis had actually been identified in 2001 when she was hospitalized for her breakdown, but had tried to hide it, refusing to believe it herself. She finally decided to seek help in her battle with bipolar disorder, undergoing therapy and medication. As of 2020, she released a memoir titled The Meaning of Mariah Carey, expressing the trials and tribulations of her career, along with the incredible momentous moments too. To feature, alongside the memoir, she released a 32-track album named The Rarities that featured all the unreleased and rare songs that she had recorded over the stages of her career. Many of her songs have themes of love, but also touched on abuse, race, and spirituality. Taking inspiration from a multitude of artists such as Billie Holiday, Stevie Wonder, Aretha Franklin, and Gladys Knight, Carey created a style of her own, a signature genre that incorporates many different elements and styles. It is her talented voice, however, that truly makes her unique. You can check out the Carly of Spotify to listen to the original tracks of the artist. It's a curated playlist with the most popular songs.